Konnichiwa, Aibowan, and hello. I am Darshan. I am Japanese, I am Sri Lankan, I am fusion. I've hungered and I've eaten my way to make Nihonbashi what it is. Today, join my journeys in Sri Lanka and Japan as I choose ingredients or simply enjoy food, for I am what I eat. Cook with me as I show you the magical ingredient in any dish you cook is you.
I'm at my favorite butcher in Keels in Prescott. I've been buying stuff here for the last, I think, 12 or 15 years since they opened. Today's episode is all going to be pork. We're going to pig out in style in a great boutique hotel near Gaul. And I'm here to buy the ingredients for this barbecue I'm going to do. I'm going to grab a huge chunk of pork for roasting. It's an amazing part of pork. It's actually the neck fillet of the animal. And I'm going to grab some spare ribs also. I think spare ribs make a beautiful appetizer. It's easy to eat. It comes with its own utensils and stuff like that. So it's an amazing part, interesting part, fun food. So let's get some spare ribs. As a restaurant owner, I travel to visit meat factories, even chicken factories. And I had the privilege of revisiting the Keels factory after a couple of years. It's an amazing place, totally clean. I wanted to see how my favorite bacon spare ribs are done. This is one amazing piece of bacon. It's actually out of spare ribs, and they had it since about 1980s. And I've even taken this to Japan as present. It's really, really nice, very simple to make. So we're going to grab some of these. Can I have all of that, please? These are ham mens. And I'm going to make a dish to accompany all these wonderful pork dishes. And for that, I don't need like properly cut ham from one big block, honey roast or cottage ham or whatever. I just need like little pieces, and I'm going to make tiny pieces of this. So these just work great. So we're going to grab these two and let's go shopping. Some of you have been asking where to buy the ingredients that I use, and I think this is the one that I use the most. Japanese soy sauce, kikkoman. It's available here. I think we have enough pork products for a pig out barbecue. Shania and I have a long drive ahead. We're going to KK, and we've got a lot of cooking to do. So we're going to start leaving Colombo and have an amazing barbecue waiting for you there. My style of food, my style of cooking, and how I present it has got me invited to many high-end resorts out in the Maldives. And even in Sri Lanka, a few boutique hotels have invited me, and Kanda Kanda is one of them. I haven't come here, but this time I somehow made it to make barbecue inspired by this place and from the meats I brought from Keels. We're here with George Cooper, the mind behind this amazing property. George, thank you for inviting us, and I know I haven't come here when you wanted us to come, but finally made it. Just tell us about what inspired you to do KK out here.
Well, I came to Sri Lanka 11 years ago. My great-grandfather and my grandfather had lived here. They were rubber planters. I think they came in something like 1860, so a very long time ago. And I stayed in Gaul for the start of my trip, and came up here looking at property, sort of rather window shopping rather than doing anything more serious, and came up and saw this amazing site with views of Kogula Lake and the jungle and tea estate, and just fell in love with the place. And
it's an amazing place.
On a whim, bought it straight away.
And what you've done with it, I mean, 5 rooms, but it's so personal, tranquil, and
Well, I think the lucky thing is here there was enough space to be able to build all the buildings, the bedroom buildings, as separate entities, so that there was actually plenty of space and privacy and peace and quiet. And I'm afraid we don't allow children here, so that it further emphasises the peace and quiet and rather zen-like quality of the hotel.
Yes, I mean in Japanese culture, when it comes to food, we look at nature being, you know, the giver of everything, and you surround your plate or your dish with nature coming first. And I've seen that here, the trees are all over and beautifully laid out.
Well, I think for me the most important thing was to try and introduce sort of the outside to the inside, and so they're basically like the dining pavilion has no walls, it's only columns supporting the roof, and sort of so that you have this sort of unbroken interchange between the exterior and the interior, and your environment and what you live in and where you exist and what you eat and everything else is very important.
Now tonight I brought some meats from Colombo, and it's been a while since I traveled to the south with ingredients, because I travel with ingredients to the Maldives a lot. And I was walking around, I saw some lime trees, I saw some fresh black pepper plants, and I thought I'm going to use some of that to be inspired from KK and let the dinner be a part of that also.
Fantastic, yeah. Well, that sounds great. I mean, we use a lot of our own ingredients here, but at the moment it's not the right season to have a huge amount in the vegetable garden, but we like to use everything that's on the estate as well as buying in from outside.
Well, I need to get into the kitchen. Got a lot of work to do. So I believe your guests are arriving in a bit while, so let me prep everything and I'll see you at the dining table.
Fantastic, look forward to it.
Thank you, George.
Okay.
Welcome to my makeshift kitchen at Kahantakanda. By the pool, clear skies, under a starry night. I love cooking outdoors. And in Sri Lanka, you can do this. There are no fire regulations to stop you from having a barbecue in your garden. Barbecues in Sri Lanka, unfortunately for me, boring. They use the same sauce from seafood to chicken to pork to lamb. I mean, people get creative. So to emphasize how different meat tastes from different parts, we are going to do pork only. And of the 3 cuts we are going to use today, 2 needs a marination, another one doesn't need anything, only to cook. So let's get cooking. The first marinade I'm going to make are for spare ribs. Spare ribs are called spare ribs because they take one rib out, and this rib has the meat of the one removed. So you get a little bit of meat on a bone, and I think it's really, really nice. And we're going to start with making a marinade for it. Japanese restaurant, Japanese kitchen. So I'm going to start with soy sauce. I'm cooking 14 ribs, about half a cup, and mirin, about half a cup, so 1-to-1 soy sauce and mirin. And for me, and I think in many Japanese kitchens, sesame oil works really, really beautiful with pork. I'm going to put about 1/4 cup. Smell alone is really, really nice of sesame oil. To this, I'm going to squeeze a grated ginger. I'm not going to put the ginger in there because it can be overpowering sometimes. So that's our beautiful and simple marinade. These are the ribs I was talking about, where there's enough meat on one bone, so it's fun to eat. And into this, I'm going to pour this in. You can prep this in the early afternoon if you're having a dinner. I just got here, so I have only this little time, but I'm going to let it rest for about 25-30 minutes. Soy sauce is really powerful and it'll get into the meat. I'm going to cook this on a net, so all the excess fat of the ribs will actually fall down. So don't worry about putting the sesame oil in there. Okay, looking really nice. That's it for this. Now let's move to the other part of the pig. This is pork for roasting that you can buy. This is a part of the neck, and it's an amazing piece of meat. And I'm not going to roast this, but I'm going to actually slice it up and have a simple olive oil garlic marinade and cook it, and I'm going to plate it later. I'm cutting it with the net, so it's easy to do. You get really marbled pork chops that are boneless. I'm going to take the nets out later. Some parts of the pork you could buy can have very little fat, and some part can have a lot of fat. It's up to you what to choose, but this one is really, really balanced, and it's a beautiful piece to cook. I'm going to take out the net that it was wrapped in. The net keeps it really easy to cut, so you can portion it at whatever thickness you want. I did about 1 centimeter. To this I'm going to use salt, black pepper, chopped garlic, olive oil, and 2 things from here. Fresh black pepper. I think this is something that South India, Sri Lanka gave to the whole world, and it's endemic to us. It was. So we're going to use that. And thinly chopped lime leaves. So let me start with the salt. Black pepper. Not too much. Garlic. Okay, this is just to one side of the thing. You have to do it on the other side also. I'm going to crush some fresh black pepper. I think I dropped half the black peppers on the floor. Just going to crush them gently. One before last, we're going to add the olive oil and the lime leaves. This gives a really, really refreshing aroma, and sometimes pork's considered to be really heavy. It's not when it's cooked right and made simple. I'm going to flip this over and do the exact same thing on the other side. That's it for the marinade. Again, you could prep this early and keep it in the fridge, wrap it in saran wrap. So let's get to the other rib, which is bacon spare ribs. This is an amazing piece of bacon ribs. It's available like this, and Keels have been having this since the 80s. I mean, I used to eat this when I was a kid. It's spare ribs without the extra rib taken out, and it's made into bacon. I'm just going to separate the ribs. I'm just going to trim off the extra fat out here. I'm getting hungry as it is. So cut between each rib. You want to squeeze this part of the fat out. I'm just going to use the back of my knife. I'm just going to squeeze it out. And sometimes you just need to trim off the extra fat around it. You can cook it with it because all the fat's going to drip down, but then you're going to get an extra smoky flame and you're going to make char easily. And we are ready to cook. There's no marination required for this one. And this is a really, really great way to start an evening because this takes the least amount of work, and you just put it on the grill. Worst case scenario, saucepans or even a microwave. Make sure you line your plate with a lot of kitchen towels and put it in the microwave. It's an amazing rib to have as a starter. And let's get cooking now. Barbecue grills come in various sizes and gas or charcoal options. My favorite is to use hardwood charcoal. And if you use like charcoal briquettes that are already made, they have foreign fuels induced sometimes, or even the coconut shell ones have coconut oil burning, and it adds a different flavor, which is not great for my kind of cooking. So I'm going to put these ribs on the net first, and then I'm going to move it on to the charcoal. This is already pre-cooked, so you don't have to do much cooking here, but be careful of the fat burning down and flames coming up and blackening your ribs. Cooking time for this rib is about 5 to 6 minutes, and you can judge it when you start seeing the rib bone getting exposed by the meat contracting.
Next I'm going to cook the fresh ribs. So these are not processed or anything or cooked. So they're going to take a good 18 to 20 minutes to cook. Be careful when doing this, might burn your fingers. In Japan, when we use charcoal and when we cook things like pork or wagyu, we say that it's a healthier way to cook because all the fats and oils get heated and they drop down into the charcoal. So when you see flames coming at you, it's because the fat of the pork got melted away and it reaches a temperature that it actually becomes a flame. Today Shania is here to help me and eat. What do you call ice cream on a stick? It's popsicle. This one is bacon on a stick. We have 10 guests today, so I'm going to hurry up and make the others. Can you take it over there?
Yep.
When you're cooking, make sure you don't use a flame. All you need is like hot amber. And when it's pork, you're going to have fat dripping down and burning. So sometimes you'll get it blackening because of the flames. But when you see flames coming out, move the meat away from the flames and then you can control the cooking correctly. Barbecues are meant to be fun. It's not a buffet where you make every single thing, put it on a plate, call everyone over. Call everyone over to you, to the grill. Make one dish at a time. Have a drink. I'm having water because it's really, really hot out here. And let the whole evening be fun and not just be a buffet fest. I mean, it's really, really nice to have so many different kinds of stuff on charcoal. So hope you do this at home.